Hello, it's lovely to see you. Namaste. My name's Leanne Peters. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, and Temple of Balance on YouTube. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I am just a couple of minutes out from starting the healing event for now. This healing event is specifically for 4 of my Temple of Balance patrons. So this is part of the reward level, I guess, if you like, their pledge level. That gives them access to this kind of personal healing guidance. So for the first time, I'm actually doing this publicly. Usually I would share this and do this with the people that are connecting privately, but I felt this month it would be great to do it more publicly. The energy's a little bit stronger too, and it also welcomes other people to come along, other people who may not be on the list. So other people that can connect. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason. I'm just kind of fiddling around for the next 2 minutes. So while I'm fiddling around for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to play the singing bell. Oh, hi, Lizzie. I'm going to play the singing bell just for a moment to build the energy, create the space, and basically fill in just these next couple of minutes before starting time. So I would use this time, if I were you, what I would suggest is to take some deep breaths, get yourself nice and comfortable, take your shoes off, relax, let other people know you don't want to be disturbed, and really soak up the energy that's been created. So even though I'll be talking directly with specific people, there's still a lot of healing energy that you can receive if you're open to it. So I'm going to play this singing bell. This is my Tibetan singing bell, and I hold it this way. I've taken the ringer out, and I'm going to play this for a couple of minutes just to help prepare us. So you can use this time to breathe out and let go of your worries, your concerns, the things that you're holding on too tightly to at the moment in your life. And you can also use the bell to help lift your spirits, which is our theme for this healing event, lifting our spirits. So nice big breath. There's nothing you can do wrong. So at the very least, just listen. Let the sound of the bell touch you in places of your body or parts of yourself where you need to be uplifted. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Very strong energy from the bell today. So let me just check the time. It's 7:01, so I'm ready to start. Thanks so much for stopping by, everyone. It's lovely to see you, and I do trust you receive something supportive and helpful from our time together today. This is specific personal healing time for 4 of my Temple of Balance patrons, and those 4 people are Carol White, Radzy, Amanda Sanders, and KantiDevi Wedad. So I'll be connecting with all of you personally. This is your personal healing guidance and healing time as being a part of my Temple of Balance patron what do you call it? Support, I guess. So those people pledge at $50 a month or more to be able to access this personal healing time. So thank you so much for your support. Now, if you are not one of those 4 people, you can still absolutely receive. So what I suggest, if I was listening to this and this guidance was for other people, or even if you're one of the people on my list and there's 3 others, I would always be open and, well, first of all, trusting that I'm here for a reason. So I'd be trusting that you happen to be online at this time that I am, or you're connecting with the replay and you've been drawn here for some reason. You might not be able to explain why, but there would be a reason. So you can trust that. So I would be trusting that I'm here for a reason because I want to be here. It feels right to be here. And then I would be opening myself up. So softening my thoughts, opening my heart, opening my body, and letting the little snippets and things that are standing out in other people's guidance, that stand out for me personally, to really listen and feel that. So you might want to have your journal handy or a piece of paper and scribble down a few things that sort of really speak to you right now. There might be something you've been thinking about, something connecting with your life. So you can trust that. If you don't feel comfortable being here, or you're just filling in a couple of minutes, then I trust that you enjoy yourself and that you have a great rest of your day when your time comes to leave. So I'm very, very sensitive to energy, and I can't explain how, but I can, and I'm sure many of us can, probably all of us, if we tune in and become sensitive to it, I can just think of a person and connect with their energy. I'm also very ethical, I guess I could say, is that I don't invade people's spaces. I don't just happen to randomly read people, because I find that very invasive and intrusive, and I'd never do it, and I wouldn't want people to do it to me, and I'd never recommend anyone does it. So if you do that, that's your own personal business, but it's not something that resonates with me. So I don't go around reading people, but I do have the ability to turn it on when I want to, and when I have the permission, when someone gives me that green light, if you like, to connect. And that's what these people have today. So I'll be tuning into each person. I've got the 4 people that I'm connecting with here on pieces of paper here in my little bowl. So that means that it will be random. There's no specific order, but it will be the right order. Our theme is lifting your spirits. So there's an uplifting sort of feeling to the energy. I'm going to kind of, what would you say that that's the theme now, but I'm not going to use that as a influence on the connections that are made. So I've kind of got that as the theme, but I'm putting it aside. I have to tune into what's most important for each person's highest truth. I'll be using or picking a healing energy card as I connect with each person. Then I'll tune in. As I tune in, I will talk about whatever it is that comes up. Whatever's loudest in your vibration is going to get my attention first. It may be something very strange, very weird, but I have to talk about whatever I'm picking up. Otherwise, the energy just blocks up. So even if it sounds weird to me, it will always flow into something. So I trust in the unfolding, and I trust in my intuition and the way I am sensitive to energy. So I'll sense energy through my clairvoyance, so through flashes and visions in my mind. Also, I'm very sensitive in my body, so I know how my body feels. So as I'm tuning into people, I can often feel energy differences that aren't my energy in my own body. So I'll talk about things like that if they come up. And whatever else comes up, I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing at this point. I prefer to just start blankly, as a blank canvas. So if you feel energy moving in your body, especially if you're one of the 4 people that I'm personally connecting with, then take some deep breaths. If you feel emotions run through your body, if you feel waves of emotion, or if you feel aches or pains rising up, then that's very normal. This is probably going to be an energetic experience for you. So just work with your breathing, especially your out breath, to help you let go. So I trust what you need will come through, whether I'm connecting with you or whether you just happen to be here. So take a big deep breath, think about trusting in the flow and being open to what you need. Let's see who the first person I'm connecting with is from my little bowl list. It's KantiDevi. KantiDevi, take a nice deep breath. So if you're listening live or connecting live, then great. If you're connecting to the replay, it doesn't matter. Just still imagine that you're connecting with this live. So KantiDevi, nice big breath. This is your personal healing time now. Okay. So your healing energy card is this, male support. So this talks about male energy coming in and supporting you, and also your inner father protecting your inner child. So your inner father basically looking after your inner child. I'm going to sit this card in front of me and let's tune in for your healing time. The first thing I'm picking up straight away is a very sharp energy here that's sort of pushing through very strongly here from this is the left side. I don't know if this camera is flipped or not on YouTube. It's coming very sharp and very strong here at the temple, and it's starting to feel really quite tender in here. There's also a sickly, nauseous feeling that's coming up in the belly. So more in up towards the solar plexus chakra. So up in the area above your navel, which is your power center. So there's a feeling here of loss of personal power, but also a sense here of you gaining or looking at how you can regain your personal power in your life, KantiDevi, at this time. So I'm being drawn back up here to this sharp energy here on your temple. So this is in the zone of your third eye chakra, and it's over here to the left. So this is usually the left side's talking about the past, and a past very sharp energy that's come in here. And there's a feeling here of it suppressing who you are, suppressing your intuition, suppressing, I also want to say suppressing your voice and suppressing your, like your spiritual kind of connections. And now I can feel this energy coming in very strongly over the left eye. And it feels like a force, and I think that's a really good word to describe what I'm feeling here with this KantiDevi, is a strong, sharp force here. It's coming in from outside of you, so it's probably connected with another person, most likely a female, because it's on the left side. So a female from your past that has come in with this force to try and suppress you and suppress your power, especially your spiritual power, your intuitive power. Oh, it's taking my breath away. And it feels like this force almost trying to, I get this sort of manipulation, sort of trying to convince you and manipulate you to think that that's not normal, that there's something wrong with you, sort of feeling coming in. And the reason I say that is because I feel this force moving in over your eye, and this tells me that this force has actually shifted your perspective, and I feel like it's time to take it back. It's feeling now like a almost like a covering, like a bit of a mask that's coming over this eye and wrapping around this side of your face and this side of your head. So it feels like it came in from the past, from a female figure, and its aim was to suppress you and manipulate you to see that you were something wrong or different, and there was something not quite right about you and the way that you connect and the way that you maybe sensed subtle energy. So this is coming up now for a reason. Because I was also drawn and am still drawn to your solar plexus chakra, there's a feeling here of this whole energy that's coming in strongly, that this has actually taken your power away and deprived you in some ways of your power, especially your spiritual and your intuitive power. And I feel like you're at a point now where you're wanting to regain your personal power and your confidence in yourself. And so this wound, if you like, is coming up to the surface. So it's like you've reached a point on your journey now where this wound, this suppression, this force, doesn't matter who it's connected with, and we don't need to know the nitty-gritty details of the past. We're just very aware that this is now blocking your intention to regain your personal power and your confidence in yourself. So this is a really great, I feel, revelation, to be a great energy or wound, if you like, to be revealed, because we can do something about it. So let's do something about this energy. What are we going to do about it? So now I'm just tuning into how it feels now. So how it feels now is like a, it's sort of like my trumpet mute. This kind of, not quite as shiny, a little bit flatter than this, but a really thin metal, almost like a sticker, that's kind of stuck here, and it's kind of pretty. It sort of looks delicate, lacy, as it's kind of sort of stuck here. So it's under the disguise of it being pretty, and that's just how you need to see things, or how you need to live. But I feel like it's kind of in disguise. So I feel it's quite solid, quite silvery, and it's also blocking in around your ear. So there's a connection here with what you're hearing as well as what you're seeing and perceiving. So with this on here now, I can feel the edge around, sort of wrapping around towards the bridge of your nose and back here under and around here under your ear. And I just feel like I want to sort of get my fingers in under here. And as I get my fingers in under here, the whole mask kind of energy, this suppression, starts to shift. It starts to move. And we're just going to actually lift it back like we're peeling back a sticker. We're going to lift it back from the front on the count of 3. So on 3, we're going to actually pull this back. So prepare yourself, KantiDevi. Take a nice big breath. And on 3. So 1, 2, and pulling this off on 3, and pulling that off and away. It sort of felt like it was kind of rooted in a little bit to your ear, but pulled that away. It's quite a solid mass, I guess. Now it's kind of formed this solid ball, and just drop it to the ground where it just returns back to love. So it's just simply energy. It was just in the form of a wound. So we've taken that wound away, and now it's just returning back to the energy that it is, just to source, if you like. So with this energy gone, there's an immediate energy that's flowing in. It's like things have been blocked off around here, and I can feel like a buzzing energy coming in your ear. And this, the energy that comes down from the universe is also pushing more over this left side. It's like it was kind of channeling around it before. It couldn't go through. So it's now filling up with energy. It's filling up with a tingling vibrancy. And there's also repair going on around here in your solar plexus chakra. So a more of like an accumulation or building up of energy and personal power. The energy is already feeling stronger as it comes in. So that's being shifted. There's a lot of tingling also going around in your mind energy and in your solar plexus. Feels good, KantiDevi. Let's grab another card just to represent your forward movement from here. So let that energy settle now, and work with it a little bit further if you need to. So nice big breaths, and your forward movement from here with that information is the self-confrontation. So this sort of suggests that this energy may not completely be over, that there may be something that you need to confront yourself about. Maybe a realization that how you were perceiving yourself, or how you were perceiving your personal power, or how you were perceiving yourself spiritually or intuitively may not actually be real. So it sort of feels like the remnant beliefs that you'd set into place because of this suppression is probably what is going to be worth looking at now, and letting yourself be confronted by the fact that maybe things weren't as you perceived or believed before, and that that's not a bad thing. So trust what you feel inside your body as you let this healing continue. So thank you, KantiDevi, and thank you so much for your support, and namaste. Okay, thank you. Now, next person. So I've got my patrons here, 4 of my patrons who are on my healing list. Thank you, everybody. And next is Radzy. So Radzy, take a nice big breath, and we'll see what comes up for you. Yes, thank you, KantiDevi. I'm sure that was helpful for a lot of us out there. So even though I've got people I'm specifically connecting with personally, you can trust that you've been led here for a reason, and you can trust that if something resonates with what's being said, and if it fits for you easily, then there's something in that for you. So you can trust that. And if you want to be a part of this next month, just have a look on my Patreon page at Patreon, at Temple of Balance on Patreon. The link is in the video description if you're interested. We do this once a month. So Radzy, your healing energy card is this, reunion. This is specifically about reuniting with your masculine energy. And have you noticed already there's a little bit of a theme there, because the card that I pulled for KantiDevi at the beginning, for you KantiDevi, was male support, which is a masculine energy coming through. And this represents the balance of our goddess or feminine energy. I think sometimes these days we tend to focus a little bit too much on the feminine, but it needs to be balanced with the masculine. And we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. It keeps us balanced. So Radzy, your masculine energy is stepping forward. So with that card there, I'm going to now put it aside and tune in as clearly and as neutrally as I can, to allow what's loudest in your vibration to step forward. And the first thing that I'm picking up, Radzy, is a very strong energy here in your heart, in the lower part of your heart. Sort of feels like your heart here and the lower half, there's a very strong energy coming through. This strong energy seems to be coming through actually on the back, on the right side, through the back of your heart, but on the right side, on the right shoulder blade. And it's coming through strongly. It's also wrapping around this kind of sensitive part of the neck. So there's a strong energy that's coming through here. Just getting a sense of if I can describe this any further or any better. Okay, it feels to me like a burden that you're carrying over your shoulders. It's close up here into your neck as well, so that tells me that there's a connection here with your communications or your truth, or a burden that you carry verbally, or that doesn't make any sense, a burden that you might be carrying communication-wise. And the reason that I can feel this as a burden, because that's what the energy feels like over the shoulders. And because it's so high in the shoulders, it's bringing the throat into it too. So there's a truth, communications, expression, burden, or burden's probably the best word that feels right at the moment. That's coming in and it's sitting deep in your heart, in this lower half of your heart. It feels like it sits under the surface somehow. Almost like you go about your things in your life, fiddling with this, fiddling with that, being this, being that, saying this, saying that. But it's like under the surface, there's something else that's going on. That's almost, I want to use the words hidden from view, which may also mean they're hidden from your own view, which is, you know, it's sort of an interesting idea, but it sort of is happening deep down in the heart under the surface. So it's a bit like, I guess, a lake, and we've got the surface of the lake. We can see what's going on and the fish swimming closer to the surface, but then underneath there's that sort of darkness and the floor of the lake or what have you that would have to dive down and see. So I sort of feel like we're connecting with that dark part of your heart. So I guess too we could call this your shadow energy in your heart, but it's more like a depth in your heart. It's not necessarily dark and shadowy, although it feels dark and shadowy. It doesn't feel like a place I don't want to go, although I'm talking a lot, so I'm sort of in some ways too resisting going down there. Is a feeling. There's a little bit of resistance here. Okay, and as I say that I'm feeling a bit resistant, as I tune into your energy with this, Radzy, there's energy moving in the back of your solar plexus chakra, so around your middle back. So this tells me old personal power, old power issues from your past that are holding you back or tying you back in this way. Okay, let's just see what we need to do here. I want to actually just drop into the water. I feel like I could sort of travel around describing it forever, but I feel like that's sort of a delay tactic, and that it's important to dive in. So as I feel like I'm just going to dive in, because I don't do resistance. Resistance, when I feel resistance, that's just a part of the energy saying, don't go here, don't look here, go somewhere else, or follow that shiny object. And that to me is a red flag straight away as soon as I notice that resistance. So it's time to take this further. So as I face this resistance and say, stuff you, we are not following this resistance, we are actually pushing through it and seeing what we need to uncover here. There's energy now shifting in your solar plexus. So this is current personal power stuff. So it's important to now be open and willing to see what you need to see, the truth of who you are down in here. Energy tingling here around the crown of your head and also in your mind energy. But we're just going to dive in. I'm going to stop talking now. And I see you standing on a platform like a diving board, many meters above the surface of this water. It looks like a lake, a very deep lake or lagoon. I love that word, lagoon. And there's a diving board quite a lot of meters up and you're standing on it. It's a white diving board. So it feels like there's a lot of cleansing and clearing that's taking place now. And we're just going to go ahead and do this on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And you jump down off the diving board, feet first, and drop straight down, 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 down into the lagoon. Down, you're going a long way down. Down through the waters and down, down, still going down. Okay, so we're still going down. And there's an anchor that's forming here around your feet. It's almost like a little chain around your feet and this anchor at the bottom of it. And this anchor makes you sort of drop quicker and you drop plonk plonk straight down to the bed here of this lagoon. So you've been anchored down into the depths of your heart, a long way down inside. Now, what do we do while we're here? That's the good question. So now we're here, what do we do? It's time to take the lid off. So I'm seeing like the lid of a casserole dish, and it's time for you to take the lid off and let the insides go, let the insides leave. And I'm seeing all these tiny little butterflies and tiny little moths, tiny little dragonflies as well, little insects that are just kind of rushing out of this casserole dish. It's like a bottomless pit. So as you take the lid off, you're releasing tons of stuff that you've been storing down inside. I feel in some ways there are shadows and probably your own fear in here, but I also feel there's a lot of ideas and a lot of remembering and a lot of stuff that you've stored down inside. It's almost like the lid was down on that lower part of your heart, and you've stored all this stuff waiting for the right moment for these seeds to awaken and for yourself to remember. So it's not just your fear around this, there's also your successes and your opportunities and what you want to create for yourself. The things, the seeds that you've planted inside many lifetimes ago. And now it feels like the perfect moment for you to have the courage to let yourself take things to the next level. To take the lid off and reveal what's inside you. The potential, the creativity, your purpose. What you need to do in this next phases of your life. So this actually feels very, very exciting. So that's it. That's what we've done for you, Radzy. So the energy is probably going to keep moving and revealing itself as you keep remembering. Just allow any fear or any resistances to come to the surface and just push them aside, or find the courage to push through them. Now I'm looking for a card just to represent your forward movement from here, Radzy, what you need to think about perhaps for next. And this is as this energy comes out in its own way over the next few months. It's probably going to continue to do that. It's going to be important for you to remember that you're supported and that you have a big team around you, especially in spirit. So you've got a big spiritual team that are supporting you at this time. So thanks, Radzy. I trust that makes sense and resonates with you. And thank you so much for your support. And thank you on behalf of everyone else that's saying thank you. So thanks, Radzy. Namaste. Okay, great. I trust you're all feeling good. Next person, I've got 2 more people I'm connecting with, these patrons. Next is Amanda Sanders. So Amanda, take a nice big breath and we'll see what comes up for you today and what's loudest in your vibration. So as you may know, I don't sit here with any doubt. I can't afford to have even a tiny part of a percent of doubt. I have to just dive in and trust what I'm sensing. So any doubt is going to block the flow of energy. It's the same with any expectations I have, any preconceived expectations about what I want to happen is also going to block the flow of energy. So you might notice that I am 100% trusting and trying to stay very neutral and let the energy unfold. And I really feel we can all do this. This is not something I've developed overnight. I've developed this over many, many years and decades of doing this sort of work. So there's nothing special about me. I just do, I guess I've just become aware and attuned and have become more comfortable in communicating what I'm sensing. So, Amanda Sanders, let's see. Here. Stability is your card. So this talks about stabilizing your energy, but it also talks about a bit like a rooting or an anchoring energy that's required so you can connect. So it's a bit like a tree. If a tree spent all its time wanting to be the biggest tree in the forest and have the biggest, tallest branches and neglected its roots, it would eventually topple over. So this is talking about the essentialness, it being essential to ground. So to really ground, which means honoring and living and being aware of and practicing being human. Being human. Because the more we try and connect with spirit, the more we meditate and get into our spiritual practices, whatever they might be for us personally, the more we have to recognize that we're human. We're a human being, and there are things, mundane things perhaps, that we need to do that helps keep our roots strong. So the more we connect with spirit, the stronger we need to connect our roots in. The stronger our roots are, the more we can connect with spirit. So it's like a tree. Tree roots equals tree branches growing, and vice versa. It's a momentum. So there's a stability coming in, but it's required from thinking connection and above, and also thinking below, grounding and being human. So with that information, now I'm pushing that aside. I'm going to tune in, Amanda, and we'll see what's loudest in your vibration at this point. Okay, I'm seeing your life's path. I'm seeing your path right now, and I'm seeing a T-junction, but it's a different T-junction than how I would typically see one. So usually I would see that we or you are walking up to the T-junction like this. So walking up, and here's the T-junction. Do you go this way or that? This time I'm seeing you walking up here, and the T-junction's almost like this. So you could keep going straight up the path and not even notice this other path or road that's coming off here to the side. And I'm specifically seeing it going off to the right. So there's a sort of a feeling here that you would be, it would be beneficial for you to be really, really super aware and observant over these next, this next week. I feel like 7 to 14 days, so this next week or two, because there's going to be an opportunity that's very close. And because I see you walking up this path. Actually, it's not up, you're sort of going along, but this is how I'm holding my hand. And there's an opportunity that's kicking in here, 7 to 14 days away, that you're going to be really, you're really being encouraged to consider. And if you continue, I feel like this opportunity could be missed. And is there really ever an opportunity that's missed? It will just come back up again anyway. But I just feel like it's important, otherwise it wouldn't come up, that there's something that's very close to presenting itself, an opportunity, someone asking you to help them with something, or a new role that's opening up in your life that you've really been encouraged to consider. Because I do feel that there's something very important about this path. And this path here, if you can steer yourself in that direction, I feel like it contains a lot of what you've actually asked for. So what you've asked for in life, what you've asked for in love, what you've asked for in purpose, all is contained on this path here. So it might mean that some things change in your life, but I sort of feel like some things also won't. But what else can I tell you about this? I feel like maybe this card too has come up to just remind you to pay attention to your human stuff over this next 7 to 14 days. That there's something very much connected on a human life, everyday level that's going to be part of what this, how this path opportunity presents itself. And I would call it an opportunity. Let's just tune in and see if there's anything else that I can pick up here for you, or that's important to talk about related to this or not related to this. I feel like you've been working really hard to strengthen your connections. So your connections to spirit, your connections in your own self-love as well, I feel is coming up. And your connections with your throat. I'm seeing a pendant or something that you're wearing here over your throat, and that you've been working really hard to strengthen and connect with your words and communications with yourself and other people, and understand more about communications, which also means you've been working really hard to get to know who you are, because that's a part of the key to that is listening and noticing what's going on communication wise will help you get to know who you are and what your truth is more strongly. So I see that you've worked really hard to do this, so keep going. And just remember that the key to your connections, to connecting with spirit and connecting with who you are, is also connecting with your humanness. So the mundane human things are really important to consider. So Amanda, I'm going to leave that with you, see how that feels. And I'm going to pull a card to represent your forward movement from here. So what do you need to know about what's next? How to take this opportunity, how to continue to connect and put that effort in that you've been putting in, or whatever else needs to come up. You've got meditation. So meditation might be really important. There's also a sense of this card of staying focused, but staying focused on the simplicities, also on the simple things. Or in other words, we could say, try not to overcomplicate things. So try not to overcomplicate things too much, but look for the simple path, the simple option, the easiest, most efficient way to do something, and stay focused on that. And I feel that will be the key in you moving forward. Please don't worry if you might miss this opportunity or not. It's just going to present itself again, but it is important to talk about. So it's one that's going to be important for you to hopefully notice. But if you don't put too much pressure on yourself, and don't be scared that you're going to miss it. Just get on with your everyday life, focus on keeping things simple, not overcomplicating, and I'm sure it's going to reveal itself. So let me know how you get on. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for your support. Namaste. That means lucky last with this connection today. Thank you, Amanda. The lucky last on with this connection today is Carol White. So Carol, take a nice deep breath and we'll see what comes up for you. We'll pick a card first and then I'll tune in. Oops. I just did a really bad grab of the cards. Oh, and I'm still throwing them everywhere. So they need a reshuffle, I figure, when that happens. So Carol, your healing energy card is Sacred Love. So this talks about connections of the sacred kind, but this card's especially about self-love. It's about your own personal sacred connections with you. And any relationship, especially a love relationship, or even a testing love relationship, is always going to reflect our own self-love or our own blocks in self-love. So no matter what's going on externally, in relationship-wise or love-wise or connection-wise with other people, this is saying that everything comes back to you. So it comes back to you, it comes back to ourselves, no matter what's going on. Doesn't mean that if we're in a relationship with a jerk that we're also a jerk. It may, but it's usually the feeling that presents. You know, if we've got this tendency to attract doormats, or to have people treat us like a doormat, and we have that pattern that comes through in our life, then we're going to attract that type of person again, until we deal with that and look at maybe how we're treating ourselves, or how we're allowing other people to treat us, which isn't healthy. So just because someone's a jerk doesn't mean we're a jerk necessarily. It might. That's up to us to work out. But it's the feeling, it's the reaction, it's how we're being treated and the feeling that it presents. That's the important reflection. So Carol, let's tune in now and see what's loudest in your vibration. Okay. I'm seeing a building, which is what I would like to call a chapel. And it's a chapel that's white. It feels like it's made of stone, let's say, but it's got like a white covering of something that's solid. So it looks very solid white, but it's got this sort of stony feeling. It feels very old. It feels like it's 100 or more years old. And it might not be an actual place. This is just how I'm feeling it. So it might not be a place you recognize, and that's totally fine. This is what I'm seeing energetically. So I'm seeing a chapel. It's got a higher area. It's got a little cross on the top, but actually the cross is falling. So there's a feeling here that the cross is tilted. It feels like it's up on a hill and it's isolated. There's nothing else around. There's a lot of nature around, but not a forest or anything. It just feels like plains or something. And then this kind of slight hill with this random white chapel. It feels not new. It doesn't feel new at all. It feels quite worn, and almost like corners are starting to chip away. So it feels a little bit run down, and that cross is tilted, which is getting my attention. And I see this little dragon. Actually, it's quite a large dragonfly, but compared to the chapel, it's small. This quite large dragonfly, and it's circling around this chapel. Now, I know that dragonflies represent illusion and something that's presenting itself in a way that's not actually true. Or it could be a person that's presenting itself in a way that's not actually true. So dragonflies talk about transformation, but they also very much highlight that there's something playing out right now that's under the spell, we could say, of illusion. So this dragonfly, it's actually quite a lot like the colours of this top, this greeny, purpley, blue sort of colour. As it sort of moves through the light, it buzzes and moves through a bit and sort of stops and hovers, and then moves through a bit and stops and hovers, and it's making its way around this chapel. And I'm drawn to the chapel. I want to go inside. And there's a door frame, but there's no door on it. So it's just an opening. And I move forward, and I actually see you in here, and you're sitting on one of the chairs. I forget what they're called, those bench seat things that they have in chapels or churches, and you're sitting in the third row back from the front, and you're sitting here by yourself. You're covered completely in white, so it feels like there's some religious connection here. It doesn't necessarily feel Christian, but there's something religious. You're covered completely in white, like a white oh, it's not a gown, but that's what I want to say. It's like a white cloak kind of thing. Oh, well, actually, it might be a gown. It feels like a sort of a religious attire, a white gown. And it's quite thick and woolen somehow. It feels quite heavy. And you're sitting here. Your hair's actually quite long and very light and very thick. And you look younger. Okay, and there's a single candle burning up on the altar, which is directly in front of you, but you're three rows back. Okay, what is the point of all of this? I'm seeing the number 7, and I don't do numerology, so I don't know what that means, but my guides know that I don't do numerology, so that's not important numerologically, unless it is to you, Carol, specifically. And I'm seeing behind the candle up on the wall is this stag, the head of a stag with these huge antlers, and it's mounted there behind the altar. Okay, so this is very mysterious. What is this about? So now we need to stand up. So we're both in here together. We're standing up. I'm just in my usual clothes here, and you're in white. You're not speaking either. There's something sacred that you're doing, or a vow that you've taken of something. This actually does feel like a vow, and a vow of silence. Anyway, you come out from your seat and we walk very slowly together up to the altar where this single white candle is burning, and there's a white flame coming from it. So it feels something ritual, some vow that you've committed to, but it's a vow that you made I feel like in your teenage years, I want to say. So I feel like you're a teenager and you made some vow. Was it a vow to the church, a vow to a religion, a vow to something that you believed at the time? And I feel that this vow, there's something about this vow that you made that's actually blocking your ability to love yourself at the depth that you could be loving yourself. Is it a vow of service? And there's a vow of silence too that's coming in very strongly. But we need to put the candle out. I feel like this vow is like a belief that or it's a vow that you've made that's actually limiting you from loving yourself as deeply as you could. It doesn't mean you're going to be selfish. There's just a sense here of you can go to new depths with your self-love and your self-acceptance. But at the moment, this vow is kind of like a mesh over you that's stopping you from moving to new depths now. So you choose in silence, you're not saying a word, you choose in silence to move your left pointer finger up and extinguish this candle, which actually extinguishes this vow that you made. And as you extinguish that candle, all of the chapel and everything in it just starts to disintegrate and crumble all around you. Your white gown that you were wearing, that was part of the vow of silence, or the vow of commitment that you made, or vow of service, or whatever this vow was, is also just starting, it's almost like it's wearing out just in fast forward, and it's just disintegrating and falling to the ground. And this whole area, this whole chapel and everything in it and everything that you're wearing just disintegrates and drops to the ground. And with this, there's a very strong sense of shedding and stripping stuff away. There's a stripping feeling here in the heart that you've actually stripped away something that's been, and there's a croaky sort of scratchy energy here in the throat. That's also part of this sort of shedding and stripping that's coming through here now. So I feel like in some ways this has been a really deep clearing and shedding for you, stripping parts of yourself back, but especially on the vow front. So Carol, let's grab a healing energy card to represent your forward movement from here and what's important for you to know now moving forward from this. And we have this new life, and this is what is, I don't use this word lightly and I don't use this word often, but this is what's promised to you as you relinquish your old vows. You had a great intention, your intentions were totally fine at the time, and this goes for all of us when we make certain vows or commitments or promises. But time changes, we change, we grow, other people grow. So we reach a point in our life where these vows, these promises that we make actually hold us back. So you made the right decision at the time, and now it's time that, well, this is blocking you from loving who you are. And new life is promised from this. You're allowing to break the spell, the illusion. I just remembered about that dragonfly. The illusion of this vow being in place and holding you back. So new life is promised. And like I say, I don't use that word lightly. Your new life is here. This is a new you growing. The new you that's connected with the sacred love of who you are. So you are like a fetus now. There might be a really new, vulnerable feeling that you have. Almost like you're starting over again. But you're not. You're just starting over at a new level. A new level you're starting at. And there's almost a burning feeling coming up here in the heart, as this energy too has been burning away and really helping open your heart. So sacred love is here for you, your sacred love connection with yourself, which then improves or attracts appropriate sacred love connections with other people. So as the wounds and the vows go, then we move into a new position, and we're a new beacon that attracts new types of people and new types of relationships. So let yourself be the new being that you've become, and let yourself grow as you nurture yourself, especially if you feel a bit vulnerable and sensitive, a bit raw and a bit new, a bit afraid. You know, it's a bit like, I'd imagine a new baby coming into this world and, you know, just being so different. So you might feel a little bit like that for the next couple of days. So just nurture yourself through and let these new energies find their place. So thanks, Carol, and thanks so much for your support. I trust this resonates, and thank you. So that's all of my personal healing connections for today and for this month. So thank you all for your support. If you want to participate next month, I highly recommend it. It's great value. You get lots of stuff in this pledge level of the $50 a month. It's US dollars though, so you can have access. There's more things you can access. So have a look on my Patreon webpage if you want to. The link's in the details of this video. What was I going to say? If you've had quite a healing experience, then I recommend that you drink lots of water, listen to your body, and be kind and gentle with yourself, and just allow the energy to settle over the next couple of days. So thank you so much. If you want to learn more about me and the work that I do at Temple of Balance, please visit my website at templeofbalance.com.au. So thank you so much. If you're on Facebook and if your Facebook videos are working, wink, wink, if I could wink, I will be going straight to Facebook now unless I'm out of battery, which I'm not. So I'm going straight over to Facebook to record live the guidance for this weekend. So I'll see you over in Facebook in a couple of minutes if you're coming over, or the recording will be available on YouTube afterwards sometime. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you again real soon. Thank you. Namaste. Bye. See you guys. Thank you.